How's everybody doing out there? So I posted a video a couple days ago, about to post another one about renting an apartment out to someone instead of renting it out for yourself, you know, becoming a landlord. So I told you what I did in my last video about getting a mortgage and going through all the steps necessary to make it happen. That's exactly what I did. So now I am a landlord. Well, I'm lucky that I found an apartment building that didn't need any repairs at all. I was so fortunate, and I got it for about $7,500 less than what it was listed for. I actually got it under the appraisal value because of some minor things that the previous property owner did before or actually after they signed an agreement with the realty company saying they were going to leave the house with everything in it and whatnot. And they went in, they took a refrigerator out of one apartment. They had a 14-foot oval pool in the backyard that they took out and left a big hole there with sand. So I had to fill it in and plant grass and everything. And they left some other stuff that were in it was in a couple other things there, like the workshop that they have there and a tool shed, and they took a bunch of the stuff out. And I told them they would have to take some money off of the price of the house since they reneged on their deal with me to leave the house as is. So they did. They agreed to it. And I moved in, and it took me about 2 days to move every single thing that I had. As far as organizing and everything, I'm still doing that, but I have the majority of it done. I think I have maybe about 10% left to go. So and the day that I moved in was actually the day that I put an ad up to rent the apartment out. And I think it was maybe about 5 or 6 hours, I had somebody come and fill out an application, and I did a check on them, and it went through, and they came back and they gave me the money, and they decided they were going to move in like a week or so after. So I said, okay, I'll prorate the rent for you, and that's what I did. Because most places, what they'll do is they'll charge you first and last month's rent where I'm at. Some places charge you first and last month's rent plus a security deposit of a full month's rent. So you actually have to pay 3 months of rent ahead of time, and you only get some of that money back when you move out. What I do is what a lot of places do now in my area and other areas around me, is that they'll make you do an application. They'll have you do a move-in fee, which is non-refundable, and it's usually about it's lower than the rent. And then when you move in, you pay you put your move-in fee and your first month's rent. So that way, when you move out, you don't get anything back. But of course, you have to leave the apartment in good repair, and it has to be the same exact way as it was when you moved in, which isn't that bad. So, I had them fill it out. They came through with the money. I told them they could move in on the day that they wanted to, and it was simple as that. And also, I have another person living with me that pays rent too. So it's basically like I'm renting both apartments out, and living there at the same time. So I'm basically living mortgage free and bill free, and all my electric and gas and water bill and my phone bill and my internet bill, and 300 square feet in my apartment as an office. So I get to write all that stuff off on my taxes. And that's the benefit of having a rental property, is that every year you can write that off on your taxes. Now, I'm not a pro investor, and I'm not an accountant or anything like that, but I've talked to quite a few people that do this, and they usually get a good amount of money back from every year from their rental property. And also, I actually did some repairs that weren't that major, but it still costs money, of course, and you get to write off the money that you spent on buying the house, putting the money down, any money that you spent on that house, the purchase of it, you get to write off on your taxes. And the trick is to beat the standard deduction every single year, which is whatever it is. I can't remember, but it's kind of high. So that's what getting a rental property is it's basically a tax. It's basically a tax write-off. And if you live in it, then you can live basically. The tenants will be paying your mortgage and your bills if you have a generate that much income where all that money can cover all of that. So whatever money you make, you get to keep. So if you're making $750 a week clear after taxes, and you have an apartment building where everything is paid for, you're living for free. So you're just paying for food, gas in your car, and whatever else you need to buy, and you get to keep the rest of your money. That's like the biggest benefit from it. So but do your due diligence. If you need to do a background check, don't go on any shady websites or anything like that. You can hire a private investigator and they can do a level 2 background check, and that's perfect. You don't need to go like federal or anything like that, because it's too expensive, and there's a lot of crap that you have to go through, and it's a waste of time. Any private investigator could do a background check for you. A credit check, I'm not sure, but there are services that are legitimate that can do a credit check on someone if you need to. And if you need to check employment, previous addresses, or anything like that, you can do all of that on your own. You can ask the private investigator to do it for you too, but it just depends on how much money you want to spend. So that's what I did. I rented out the other apartment. I got somebody living with me, and I get to keep a little bit, and the rest goes towards all the house and the bills. So I get whatever I do in my time to make money, I get to keep that money, and I don't have to go to a job every day that I absolutely can not stand, and live my life the way that I want to. So, and you can do it too. In my previous video, I left links to the mortgage company and a real estate agent that I went through, and you can find that on my channel. So until next time, take it easy, guys.